Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Potential Unleashed. We're back with another video. This is chapter 1038 review. It's titled Kid in Law vs Big Mom. Let's get into it. The cover page, we have Niji and Yonji. They're captured in one of Big Mom's towns, right? They're in the little book that Nami and Luffy were trapped in. I think this is pretty interesting because at first I just assumed all of Germa that they escaped. However, they were captured. They were the ones on the island that was helping Sanji escape, but it makes sense that they were captured because there were a lot of Big Mom and Big Mom pirates. So if everybody would escape without any casualties or without any losses or etc., I think it would have been a little bit underwhelming for somebody on the level of a Yonko and their crew. Although this chapter is titled Big Mom versus Kid in Law, we rarely got to see that fight. It's probably going to be a little bit more in the next chapter, which I'm a little bit concerned only because for an emperor, I know she's going against two people who are relatively close to the same level, and they're portrayed to be Luffy's rival. I have Luffy over them, right? I think Luffy's low top tier, and I think Kid and Law are probably mid to high first. Maybe if they get advanced conquerors like Kid, I think we'll put him up there, but they do have awakenings, which Luffy doesn't have, so I don't know. That's a little bit weird territory, but I'm scared that because we've seen how much Kaido's been through, fighting the Scabbards, the Roof Piece, Yamato, Luffy now, etc., and they're going back and forth. I'm scared that Big Mom's going to be defeated way too easily. I feel like we need to see more of a struggle, which I'll talk about a little bit more later in the chapter. But we already know our favorite fight was still going on. Raizo versus Fukurokujo. They're basically in a paralysis jutsu where they're not letting anybody go and they're just burning to death. Don't know why this fight's still going on. Maybe Oda's doing this to troll, I don't know, but nobody cares about this fight. Honestly, if Raizo died, I wouldn't care. If Fukurokujo died, I really wouldn't care. But then we cut to Jinbei. He is sitting here going through and he's saving the stragglers here and there. We also cut to Chopper. He's the effects of the rumble ball making him really small and old. They stop working, and Chopper, he's worried about Zoro, talking about the recovery drug, talking about how it's going to implement a massive effect on his body because he couldn't move. It'll probably double his pain, where he's saying, Zoro, please be all right or don't die on us, and which is a little scary because Zoro, he's laying on the ground, and if the damage is going to be more than Thriller Bark, I don't think it's taken any effect yet because Zoro is still conscious. He doesn't look as blooded, or it doesn't look as bad as Thriller Bark, and he's like, hey, who the heck are you? And we see somebody that's like the Grim Reaper about to kill Zoro. Personally, I feel like it's Brook or something along those lines. I feel like it's going to be a gag, but we see the Grim Reaper, so I'm a little bit concerned for Zoro, but I think it'll be alright. And remember, I don't know what chapter number it was. I think it was like 127 or 126, something along those lines, when King and Zoro were going back and forth, and King had overpowered Zoro really quickly, and then Zoro ran into Franky, all of that. So right now, Franky is the one that's looking for Zoro. He's right next to Zoro outside of the tower. Franky's inside, Zoro's outside. So I don't know which Straw Hat or who's going to find Zoro. Maybe the one that, or maybe the Grim Reaper-like thing will be the one to save him. I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen with him. He is my favorite character, so I'm glad that they're addressing this early and that Zoro, he's alright. We cut to seeing Izo and Cypher Pole. Izo, he talked about how he's a little bit exhausted because, hey, even though they're a fodder, he still went against Beast Pirates, showcasing their strength. Izo also, he still has to recover from fighting Kaido, etc. And so Cypher Pole's like, hey, he's like, Izo, here's the thing, man. We're not going after you. We'll look past you. We're going after the Straw Hat. So let us dip, and you'll be cool. Izo's like, man, what are y'all doing? You better not take another step, Cypher Pole. So it looks like Izo's going to get Cypher Pole. Realistically, I think if he's healthy, Izo could probably take one, maybe both of them down. But right now, Izo is tired. We already saw what they did to X-Drake and Apu, how Apu had to run and X-Drake was unconscious. So I want to see where this is going to go. There's also the basement where Yamato finally gets to the armory, and how they have that giant blob monster about to destroy the bombs. Yamato uses her devil fruit and she freezes the bombs, and she's trying her best to stop the flames and because they don't want the casualties from the explosion, all of that. They don't want the island to blow up, so she's doing her best for crowd control and controlling the situation. And finally, we get to the point of the chapter with Big Mom versus Law and Kid. And so we see the crew crying and pleading. They're like, hey, our captains are unconscious, let them go. We see Law and Kid on the ground, and Big Mom, she uses Hera to attack the Kid pirates and the Heart pirates. And she's like, this is a battlefield, what the heck are you doing crying? Like, which is right. I like that part. And this is where I'm sitting in here. I'm like, okay, they've used their awakenings, right? What else can they do? Like, how can they get stronger? Because we know with Luffy, with him, he has his gears, right? With Sanji, he can, more likely than not, they're just gonna boost his flames, right? There's like, we can think of possibilities, but with Kid and Law, we're like, well, what else do they have up their sleeve? So I thought they were done. Big Mom, she wants to go back up to the rooftop because she says Kaido hadn't let out his victory cry yet, so he's probably still fighting Straw Hat. She's gonna go back up there, and I'm like, oh shoot, Luffy's gonna lose if he has to fight two of them. And then Law, he comes out of nowhere, uses Kroom, and then he has his blade where it extended, like, because at first I was looking at it, I was like, oh, like, what the heck is this? But he extended his blade into Big Mom, and he did something called Shock Willie into her. He did another Kroom related attack, and then there's Eustace Kid. He comes back and he uses his awakening to assign magnetism to something, and then he does that to himself, and then he creates kind of like a bull like thing, and it's called Punk Cornadio. So he used that to attack Big Mom, and she gets sent back. And so what I like about Kid, I'm gonna read the line, so word from word. Kid says, I bet you anything Kaido's reaching his limit up there. If you give it long enough, even mountains can be worn down by rain. They say you emperors are invincible. What a joke. There's no such thing. I like that line. That is a dope line because it talks about how the people up top, they have to fall, right? You cannot stay up top forever. There's always going to be somebody chasing after you, not just in the pirate or One Piece world, but in life in general. With business owners, there's the people at the top, and then there's the people who just started business who try to go and surpass them, right? Like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, all of them, they're not going to be at the top for forever. Somebody's gonna come behind them. And so Law and Kid, they're like, hey, you're not going up to rooftop, because even though they're pirates, right, they have an alliance. They want to beat their enemy one-on-one, right? They have pride, all that. And so if Big Mom went up there with Kaido, oh, Luffy's getting packed up. They're gonna eat him for breakfast. The last thing I kind of want to talk about, I might do a video about this. I'm a little bit concerned with Captain Kid. I think he's a great character. I like the different aspects about him. I think he's cool. Kid has a lot of interesting lines. Like, I know this one and the one with the Celestial Dragons, but I feel like the only thing left he can do is probably get like advanced versions of hockey, because his double fruit, it's the more I think about it, I don't think there's anything else he can do. Like, all we really see him do is smash people with metal and use his awakening to assign magnetism and stuff, but that's it. Like, even with his new attack, he rode on a bull and he still like hit them with metal. But like, his attacks aren't flashy, or they're not really, I don't know, I feel like they don't do anything. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but let me know what you guys think about this chapter. I thought it was pretty good. 9 out of 10. It was like a cut and paste chapter. I feel like the title could have been different if they didn't defeat Big Mom here, or because it really was like the last 10% of the chapter where they fought her. But overall, it was a pretty solid chapter. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, the notification bell so you never miss on a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.